Hello viewers, welcome to Kids Auto and Truck Repair. Today we have a 2011 Chrysler Town & Country with a 3.6 liter. In this video, I'm going to show you how to remove and replace the AC compressor on this vehicle. The AC compressor on this vehicle is defective, it's no longer working, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to replace that. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to recover the AC refrigerant out of the system, and then we're gonna get the compressor replaced. So now let's get under the hood so we can recover the AC refrigerant. We're gonna remove the engine cover, and then we're gonna remove this PCV tube over here that goes across the engine. It just pops out. And then the next step is gonna be removing the air filter box. We're going to have to remove the air filter box so we can get access to the high side service port. So I'm going to undo this tube over here. So there's a clamp over here that we have to undo. And then there's another clamp over here. Now the next step is going to be removing this upper air filter housing piece, just like that. We're also going to check the air filter. The air filter looks good. And then the air filter housing is just gonna pop off. Okay, so we're just gonna lift it up like that. Okay. It has rubber grommets down here that keep it in place. So we're gonna remove the lower piece of the air filter housing. I got our AC machine fired up. So now we're gonna undo this cap over here. So this is why we had to remove the air filter box, so we can get access to this service port. This is the high side service port. We're gonna put this cap over here. Now we're gonna grab our red hose from the AC machine and connect it to this service port over here. Just like that. So it's on, and then we're gonna turn the knob to close the valve. Okay, so now refrigerant is flowing from this line through the red line and into the machine. If you can see, this high side gauge went up to about 50 psi, and the low side is a little below zero. Now once we get the low side connected to the system, this low side gauge should read the same pressure as the high side. Okay, so now let's grab the low side, which is the blue one, and the low side service port is right here. So we're gonna remove this cap. We're just gonna turn it counterclockwise, just like that. And then we're gonna connect our service hose there. So just like that, and then we're gonna close the knob to close the valve. All right. As you can see, our gauge went up. So now we're gonna recover the system. So we're gonna click over here. We're gonna click this button that says recover. Okay, this is gonna suck all the refrigerant that we have in the system out so that we can remove the AC compressor. Okay, so now the machine is going to get ready to suck all the refrigerant out of the system So at this point, we're just gonna wait until all the refrigerant is recovered, and then we're gonna go ahead and raise up the vehicle so we can get access to the AC compressor. So I'm gonna let the machine recover the refrigerant, and then I'll bring you guys back up. The AC machine is done recovering the refrigerant from the system. Our gauges went down to 0, so we're good. So now I'm gonna disconnect our service hoses from the system, and then we're gonna raise up the vehicle. All right, so now let's raise up the vehicle so we can get access to the AC compressor. We are here under the vehicle. Here is our AC compressor. So this is what we're gonna replace. Now, I wanna show you the front of the AC compressor clutch. Do you see how this is melted? Okay, and it's making noise. It's making a growling noise when the engine is running. So the first thing we're gonna do is we are going to get the tension off of the serpentine belt. We're gonna get the serpentine belt off, and then we're gonna remove the AC compressor. Now we're gonna get the tension off of the belt. So we're gonna do that by pushing our tensioner towards the back of the vehicle. Okay. And then I'm gonna use my other hand to get the belt off of the alternator up here. Okay. Now the serpentine belt looks good. It's not cracked. Okay, so we're going to reuse it. Okay. All right, so we got the belt removed. So now we can get to the AC compressor here so we can remove it. So now the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disconnect the AC compressor electrical connector here. Just like that. We're gonna get this out of the way. I'm just gonna lift this wire up here. Okay, so the AC compressor has 4 bolts that hold it on the engine block. So we have 2 down here, and then we have 2 more up there that we have to undo. And after we remove these 4 bolts, the AC compressor is going to come out. But before we do that, I'm going to disconnect our low side line and high side line from the AC compressor. And these are 13mm nuts. So here comes the first nut, and then we're gonna pry out the line. So the first AC line is disconnected. We're just gonna push it out of the way. I can put this nut back on there. And then we're gonna undo the second one. Actually, let me remove this nut. I'm gonna use a wrench to undo this one. So just like that, here comes the second line removed. Okay, so now we're gonna remove the bolt that hold the AC compressor against the engine block. So as you can see, our AC compressor is now coming out. We're gonna remove the first bolt and then the second bolt. Now the AC compressor should just slide out like this. Hopefully it's gonna come out all the way. So here comes our AC compressor. You see how bad the clutch is. So the AC compressor is removed. So we're gonna take it to the bench. So here is our old AC compressor. As you can see, the clutch over here is really damaged. So this clutch was making noise. I don't know if you can hear that. So it was making this noise, clack, 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 when the vehicle was running. Okay, when the engine was running, this was making noise. Okay, hear this. Okay, so there was a growling noise coming from around the serpentine belt when the engine was running, and it was coming from the AC compressor. So I hope it's loud enough. I hope you can hear that. Okay, now you might say, why don't you just replace the pulley and the clutch assembly? I know some people do that, but I recommend replacing the whole AC compressor. These compressors are not very expensive, so we decided to get an entire AC compressor. Now, here is our new unit. This is the part number right here from Napa. So I'm gonna get the new one out of the box. Now this one is a remanufactured unit, and replacing this AC compressor is pretty straightforward. Once we install this one, we're gonna fill the AC system with refrigerant, and then we should be good. So here is our brand new AC compressor. Okay, now I'm gonna spin this pulley. You hear this? Do you hear how smooth this one is? This is not making noise. So I'm gonna spin this. Okay. Now let's compare this one to this one. Okay, so bad AC compressor. Bad AC compressor clutch. Okay, so now we have to make sure that everything looks good and everything looks the same. Okay, the electrical connector looks the same, so we are good there. Now this new AC compressor doesn't have the studs that the old one has. So I'm gonna have to transfer these studs on the new compressor. So we're gonna remove these studs and install them over here. Now we're gonna check and make sure that this AC compressor does not have oil in it. Usually they put oil in these compressors to store them. So I'm gonna dump this out. You see this oil? I'm just gonna dump it into the old compressor. Okay, so I'm doing this so I can show you that these compressors come out with oil. They come with oil from the factory when they remanufacture them. So I'm gonna dump all this oil. Okay, I'm gonna go dump it in the drain container. All right, so all the oil is dumped. Now, why am I dumping that oil? It's always good to dump this oil because you could have a lot of oil in the AC compressor. If you install it like that without dumping it, you might have an excessive amount of AC refrigerant oil in the system that can alter the performance of the AC system. And then the other advantage of draining and putting your own oil, I use dye oil. When you do that, you use oil that has dye in it. If there is a leak in the AC system, the dye is going to help you find where the leak is. So I always like to drain the new compressors, and then I'm going to put my own dyed refrigerant oil. So this is the stuff that we're going to put in it. This oil has dye in it. Okay, so in case of a leak, we're going to find that leak a lot easily. Now, I'm not putting a lot, just 2 cups. Okay, you don't want to put a lot of oil in the compressor. All right, I'm going to put these cups on the old compressor because there is a core charge on this compressor. We're going to have to send the old one back to the store. Okay, now I'm going to use this sharp rag to block these holes right here for now, because we don't want any debris falling into the AC compressor when we install it. Okay, all right, so our old one is going to go back in here. Actually, we're going to have to replace these O-rings over here. Actually, the new one came with new studs. I should have looked in the box first. Anyways, these studs are good. We're going to use the old one. But these O-rings over here, these gaskets, we're going to have to install these gaskets. So our AC lines have these type of gaskets. Okay, this is for the high side, the big one is for the low side. Okay, so now let's go to the vehicle so we can get our new AC compressor installed. I installed new gaskets on the AC lines off camera. So now we're gonna install our new AC compressor. So here it comes. We're gonna make sure that everything is lined up here. Just like that, everything is lined up, and then we're gonna push it back all the way. We're gonna put on our bolts, just like that, easy peasy. So at this point, everything I'm doing is the reverse process of the removal process. Now we're going to tighten the bolts for the AC compressor. We're going to crisscross them. we're just gonna use our internal torque wrench here, okay? Don't go too tight on these nuts. This is my internal torque wrench. Beep. 40 foot-pound. No, actually 35 foot-pound. All right, so that's good. Okay, now we're gonna reconnect our high side line. Okay, so this line is gonna go on first. All right, that's good. So now we're gonna install the low side line, just like that. Perfect. So everything is tightened. So now we are going to reconnect. We're going to reconnect our AC compressor electrical connector. We're going to lock it in place. That's good. We are good to go. So now we're going to reinstall our serpentine belt. Now I'm just making sure that everything is lined up here. Okay, so our serpentine belt is installed. Everything looks good. We're gonna double check, and then we're gonna lower the vehicle. I'm gonna remove my ratchet here. So here is our brand new AC compressor installed. The belt is on. As you can see, the belt is on the compressor, and then it goes up to the alternator and then comes down this way. Okay, so we're good to go. Everything is back together. We're good to go. So now I'm gonna lower the vehicle so we can charge the AC system. Now we're gonna reconnect our service port to the AC system so we can fill it up with refrigerant. All right, so now let's look at the machine. We're going to vacuum the system. I'm pretty sure this system doesn't have a leak, but we have to check. Okay, we're gonna do that for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes is enough. Okay, and then we're gonna turn on our leak test. Okay, so let's do that. We're gonna let the AC machine do its thing, and then when it's done, we're gonna get back so that we can charge the system. The AC machine is almost done testing the system for leaks right here. So we're almost done with the leak test. So right there, the system has passed the leak test, so we're good. Now we're gonna press down this arrow over here. Now we're gonna charge the system. Before we charge the system, we have to see how much refrigerant this system takes. Also, we have to look at these gauges. As you can see, these gauges are stuck, especially the low side gauge is stuck below 0, so that's good. If there were a leak in the system, this gauge was gonna rise. Okay, so that's good. Now we have information over here about the AC system. So if we look closely, it says that if the system has dual unit, it's supposed to take 2.53 pound. Okay, 2.53 pound of refrigerant if this is a dual system. If it's a single unit system, it's supposed to take 1.8 pound, so 1.81 pound. So since this vehicle has a dual system, there is an evaporator in the back of the van, so we're gonna have to put 2.53 pound in this system. Okay, and this information is found right here on the radiator core support. So we're gonna put 2.53 pound of refrigerant in the system. Okay, so now we're gonna get back here to our machine. We're gonna click down here where it says charge. So we're gonna put 2.53. okay, that's what it was. So 2.53 pound, and then we're gonna scroll down and let's put 2 ounces. Okay, this is a dual unit system. Okay, we're gonna charge it from both sides, left and right. So that's good, we're good to go. So we're gonna put 2.53 pound of refrigerant in the system. We're gonna put about 2 ounces of refrigerant oil in it, so we should be good to go. No, actually, let's do 1.5. Everything looks good. We're gonna click this check mark, and then we're gonna let the AC machine do its thing. When the AC machine is done charging the system, then we're gonna put everything back together, and after that we should be good to go. So I'm gonna let the AC machine charge the system, and then I will bring you guys back up once it's done. Alright guys, the AC machine is done charging the system. We have a message on the display over here. It says disconnect high side service hose, connect low side service hose, and start AC max. So the machine wants us to disconnect the high side service service line, and then it wants us to start the engine and put the AC system on. So turn on the AC system and put it to the max setting. Okay, we're gonna leave our low side connected. Let's put this back over here. Now I'm gonna install the air filter box, and then we're gonna start the engine. I'm gonna install the lower air filter housing first. the lower end of the air filter housing. So just like that. So we installed this inlet tube. So now we're gonna install this tube over here, this PCV tube. So everything is reinstalled. So now I'm gonna go in the vehicle and start the engine. All right, so as you can hear, the engine is running. Everything sounds good. We're good to go. So now we can press this. Okay, so now the machine is telling us to disconnect the service hose, the low side hose that we have over here. Just like that. And then we're gonna put this cap over here. Right there. So we're good. Okay. So this is fixed, guys. We are good to go. So I hope you guys can see the AC compressor right there spinning. Okay, it just stopped. The clutch stopped. It's gonna go on again. Watch it right there. So we're good. Okay. So this is good. This is fixed. So we're good to go. Over here it says the dual system takes 2.53 pounds of refrigerant. Our AC machine is done filling the system, and it says we have put 2.531 pounds of refrigerant in the system. So that's good. All right. So we're good to go. Everything looks good. We don't have to go in the vehicle and check. Actually, in case you're wondering, everything actually feels good. Oh, this is really cold. This is This feels awesome. Let me go grab the thermometer. Now let's take the temperature of the air that's coming out of this vent. Okay, what do you see? 52 degrees. Okay, yeah, it feels good in here. So this is good. This is fixed. We're good to go. So now I'm gonna turn off the engine so we can wrap up this video. Okay, so this is fixed, guys. Let's turn off the engine. Alright guys, so that's it. I'm gonna leave this video right over here. This is how you remove and replace an AC compressor on this 2011 Chrysler Town & Country with a 3.6 liter. I hope you liked the video. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give it a thumb down. But if you do, you gotta tell me why so we can make better videos in the future. If this is your first time here, subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. If you have any comments, questions, criticism, leave them in the comment box. Thanks for watching. See you next time.